valleys and the forests. They speak in the tongues of the night, in the crick crick and the clap clap, the chanton, the la belle and the la lo. Listen carefully, and you can hear. Listen.
My name is Jaco, and I once lived among you in the forest of Bombay. Sometimes I think that you have forgotten what we did and who we were. We were Maroon, and I was the chief of all Maroons. At that time, even our enemies respected us. True. We were many, and we were powerful. The British called me the governor of the woods, and they said that I was a chief of a state within a state. And that our provision grounds ran for miles and miles. They were a sight for the eyes to see. They even wrote in the leather books that I had been born in Africa and that I was the oldest chief. That was true. Yes, because I was born in Africa and I knew of the old ways. I had been free in these forests of there for 50 years. But that all came to an end when they shot and killed me. After my death, and the killings of all of the Maroon chiefs, and the trials and the executions, and after 2 hurricanes, defeat came to us. But the spirit lives on. At least in some of you. But let me tell you what happened during this terrible time. It was April 1813, and the British sent a man called George Ainsley to be the governor of Dominica. Ainsley was a Scot with a heart as cold as his country, Scotland. However, the British planters here in Dominica welcomed him because he was determined to destroy us. They call that banditti. Hordes of savages. And Ainsley declared martial law and held trials of captured Maroons and of our friends on the estates. But even Ainsley was not his own boss. Ainsley had to report to London to his boss of all bosses, a man called Lord Bathurst in England, of what was happening here in Dominica and how powerful we were.
Yes.
My lord, people ignorant of the state of Dominica erroneously believe that the runaways are slaves to avoid punishment for some menial offense from a harsh master, run away to the woods for a short time, and then return to their duties. No misapprehension, sir, and be greater. They are a banditti! Under government of a chief, sub-chiefs, and captains, inhabiting a country difficult beyond description, having regular outposts, or camps as they are called, in advance of the grand cantonment where the chief resides, with provision grounds cleared for miles around. So this imperium in imperio has been established above 30 years. They also attack and they rob houses and estates to such an extent that I have been obliged to furnish ammunition to many of the poorer planters, not to attack, but to defend their lives from these lawless savages. But rest assured, I am determined to do all that it takes to bring and restore peace and tranquility to this difficult but dangerous country. Yours truly, George Ainsley, Governor of Dominica. Admit, take this letter and see that it is on the first ship to set sail for England.
Yes. Almost his first act as governor was to declare a proclamation. A proclamation.
I do therefore, by this my proclamation, offer a free and unconditional pardon to all such runaways who return to their duty and deliver themselves up to the magistrates of this colony, or surrender themselves up to the government house in the town of Roseau on or before the 4th day of June, where their grievances will meet with every proper consideration. I do further declare that all such runaways that shall be taken after the 4th day of June shall be treated with the utmost vigor of military execution, their places of refuge and harbors destroyed, their provision grounds laid waste, and the punishment of death inflicted on those who are found in arms.
Some of us did surrender, but governor was not to be satisfied until all our camps and all our bodies were broken. In January 1814, he declared martial law and held court-martial near the market in Roseau to hear cases of captured Maroons. In this trial, 5 members of the militia were our judge and jury, with the judge advocate to give them advice. But we Maroons, we had no one to speak for us. Here is the evidence from the trials as written down in the leather books of these times.
Trial number 1, first prisoner, Joe. A Negro belonging to the estate of Cobbin is charged with harboring and supplying the runaway slaves. Come witness the marinade.
The marinade.
The marinade! The marinade!
The marinade.
Mr. Demarine, do you promise to tell the truth and so on?
No whatsoever.
Begin your evidence.
I come from Corbin, where I've been living. The Negro Joe told me, don't be afraid not to run away. He said, runaways will do you no harm if I allow them to pass. They might even let me live in peace, he said. They usually pass in groups of 6, 7, maybe 10. And Joe was always with them. There was a large piece of land. Large piece. I asked, in one of the coffee houses on the estate, I asked, to whom it belongs? Joe said, it's mine. Says yours? He said, yes. He said, what you going to do with it? So he said, I want it.
Do you know whether he has supplied the runaways with provisions while on the runaway?
No. Not to my knowledge, sir.
Have you ever been in the company of Elephant, the chief from the Jordan district?
Yes, often. I see him about 8, 9 times.
Joe, you may step down.
Calling witness, Geoffrey.
Je vais.
Mr. Gervais, do you promise, sir, to tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever see Elephant in the prisoner's house?
Yes, often, sir.
Is he in the habit of supplying the runaways with provisions?
I know of him giving them salt and tobacco, sir.
Did you ever see Joe in the company of Elephant?
Yes, sir. I hear them say he been by the prisoner's house and at Joe's. And I even hear them say that Joe and Victor was in company with Elephant when he gets shot.
How many times have you seen this?
With my own eyes, I see him more than 10 times, sir.
10 times, Joe. You may step down.
Thank you, sir.
Calling witness, Marie-Jeanne.
Marie-Jeanne! Marie-Jeanne!
Yes,
Now
sir.
listen carefully, quietly, before you answer this question. Do you know the prisoner?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever seen runaways in Joe's house?
Yes. We cook their victuals and have conversations with them.
Now, what runaways did you see in Joe's house?
I don't know them.
What numbers? How many?
A great many. It's to come every Friday.
Did you ever see Joe give the runaways something?
I see him give them herring, tobacco and salt.
Do you know where Joe got these articles from? Hola y boleo.
Well, Joe used to go down to the market, buy them.
What did the runaways give Joe in return for this thing?
Oh, wawa. Large pie of wawa.
Did you see him?
Yes. I see him give them a large pie of wawa.
Did they ever give anything? While they were eating, they give you anything?
Me? No, they never give me nothing.
Now what did Joe do with these wawas?
So, he used to take them and hide them all over the house.
What did Joe bring to town to buy?
Wawa is only wawa. Wawa.
Nothing but wawa?
Nothing but wawa.
Is there any estate from below where these runaways could have come from?
Yes. Our estate up and last estate behind the woods.
Now, when the runaways left Joe's house, did they go up or down?
They went up.
Did you ever say from where in town he brought this provision?
He never told me, but I know it's in the market. He used to go down in town and buy.
But on the day that Elephant was killed, did not Joe come from Roseville with 2 runaway Negroes?
Yes!
I see. Do you have anything to say?
This Sunday I come down. What time did I come down?
In the afternoon, after you steal the Tanya and the potato and the
When I was sick in the house, did you see any runaways come and see me?
Yes, you cook victuals for them and you have conversations with them and eat with them.
Have you ever seen runaways in my house?
Yes, I see them with my 2 eyes, with my 2 cocos here. My 2 cocos here.
And with that, Joe's fate was sealed.
You may step down. Now, having taken into consideration the charge against the prisoner and the evidence in support of those charges, we are of the opinion that the prisoner is guilty as charged, and he shall thereby be sentenced to be hung in this very marketplace in Roseau.
Another prisoner, he too was brought about by the same. And there was another prisoner called Frank, another maroon called Frank, who was sick on the estate. And Frank was forced to work by the manager. The next day, Frank was found dead. Sarah and some other women, they went down to Roseau to tell Governor Ainsley what was happening on the Hillsborough estate and that they would not work there unless the manager was removed. But Governor Ainsley told them, go back to work. But they, knowing that they would be flogged, they did not go back, and they came up to the camp to live with them.
Trial number 2, ex-prisoner Peter, belonging to the Gregg family of Hillsborough.
You have been charged with exciting a mutiny among 20 of the Negroes on the estate and furnishing them with provisions. How do you plead?
Calling Mr. Ben of Hillsborough Estate as next witness.
Mr. Ben? Mr. Ben?
Ben.
Mr. Ben!
Yes, sir.
Do you promise to tell the truth?
I swear it.
Begin your evidence.
Well, I ordered Peter to go back to the runaways and to tell them that if they would neither see me nor hear from me, then the governor would take them in by force. But he answered that if the governor sent a party after them, then they would leave their bodies in the woods. Yeah. Well, about 10 o'clock that evening, Dr. Brenner, the attorney for Hillsborough, he arrived and he requested me to take out Peter as a guide. So I sent for Peter, but I couldn't find him. So I was obliged to go out with Tommy and John Lewis. So we went out and we came to 2 watch houses. In the watch house that I examined, I found nothing. But in the other, John Lewis, he found Peter, yeah, with a big stick and a cutlass and 3 other Negroes who made their escape. Yeah. Well, I asked him if he would show me the place where the runaways were, and he said yes. And he took me to a place from whence the runaways had been gone for more than 6 hours. Yeah. Well, so I asked him some further questions, and he made no other reply other than, your time is done now.
Calling Sergeant Rowan is next witness.
Mr. Rowan, do you promise to tell the truth?
I do.
Your evidence, please.
I asked Peter if he could take me to the runaway. He said yes. So we went with him. And after being in the bush for a few days, we saw no Negroes. Then one night, Peter told me that he will take me to no other camp unless the manager is removed from the plantation. As long as the manager remains on the estate, the runaways won't come in, he said. Then Peter told me, take the manager to town and he will bring in all the Negroes.
Give me a step down. What do you have to say?
I did not run away. The manager sent me out to tell the Negroes to come back home to their service. I am in the habit of bringing in the runaways. When I goes out, I usually have victuals in my pocket. And when I mix them, I cooks them food, catches them, and brings them back home to the manager. I left the runaways telling them the manager say they must come home. But they say they would not. Unless the manager left the estate. After the sergeant and his party came, I took the hunter up to the places where I'd left the runaways. But when we got there, they had long gone. He asked me if I knew of any other place. I say, I know of the big camp, but we had not man enough to go there. The last thing I said was, Papa Bode God, we go after them with plenty of troops. We make a big haul. And if the governor is pleased with me, I hope he will take me from this estate.
Witness it.
Calling Mistress Henderson as from Hillsborough Estate as next witness.
Mrs. Anderson!
Mrs. Anderson!
Mrs. Anderson!
Do you promise to tell the truth?
I do.
Begin your
The prisoner is not employed as a fisherman. I have sent him after the runaways, and sometimes he has brought them in. I feel he has great influence on the gang, and I have no doubt of his communicating with them, as he's well acquainted with the rules.
So is he in the habit of staying out after the runaways 2 to 3 days?
Yes, sometimes for a week.
You may step down. The court, having considered the charge against the prisoner and the evidence in support of those charges, of the view that he is guilty and that he be hanged, sentenced to be hanged in the marketplace at a time and place appointed by the governor. But considering that the witness is a fit person and may be willing to act as a guide, that the court encourages the governor to allow him to act in that capacity until such time that he's able to be banished from this country for life.
But Governor Ainsley took no consideration at the court's plea for mercy.
I order the death sentence to be carried out with effect tomorrow at the usual hour. The head to be cut off and put on a pike in the marketplace, and the body to be hung in chains on Hillsborough Estate.
What? Do as you may. I go to my death as an example to my people. And indeed, I say again, your time
time is done now.
By the time the trials ended, I was dead. Together with all the other chiefs, like Kwashi, Elephant, Noel, Apollo, Louis Moko, all of them were killed by Ainsley's Rangers. In fact, a total of 577 men, women, and children suffered that fate. They were either killed, captured, or they surrendered. Indeed, some 13 people at that time Maroons, they too suffered that same fate. In fact, 5 or 4 women were also there with them. That when Joseph Sturge, an Englishman from England, of course, came down to Dominica in 1837 after slavery, he had this to say.
Many were brought to Roseau and butchered in cold blood. And there is a well there, which though of sweet water, and in the center of the marketplace, remains unused to this day, from a belief that it is defiled with the blood of these unfortunate people.
Ainsley, however, suffered a different fate. The people in London did not like us, but they did not support Ainsley either. He was sent back to England, made to sail away back to England, where he was never sent back to Dominica as governor, but he was sent up to Canada, in a cold place in Canada, where there were no Maroons for him to menace.
I can discover no necessity for that repeated recurrence to the exercise of martial law, and that supersession by court-martial to the established tribunals of the colony. And although His Majesty's government are willing to acknowledge your zeal and good intention, they are nevertheless compelled to admit that you have evinced so little discretion in the exercise of your authority as governor of Dominica that your return there could not be attended with any beneficial consequences.
Gentlemen, you're fired. Well, almost. And as I said before, they made him sail away to England to explain his actions, and he never returned to Dominica. And as I told you, instead he was sent to be governor of a cold island in Canada, where there were no Maroons for him to beat upon. So, that is the sum of what we know about how we Maroons were defeated. There are many other things that those who were not there do not know. And those of us who were there, above Collyhoe, in Layu, in Bells, at the back of Grand Bay, there were ideas new to us at the time, ideas about the rights of men. And we drank in those ideas like we drank in the rainwater in our calabashes. We who had been strong, we lost the war against Ainsley. But as the leather books relate, also know too that all the others, like